Hello and welcome to the Happy Little Futures podcast. As always, let's take a nice deep breath in and release. Fantastic. So this week I'm going to be talking about how anyone can meditate to support their mental health. Most people know that meditation and mindfulness sort of go hand in hand and are quite often recommended when you're anxious, when you're feeling stressed, when you're depressed, when you've got chronic pain, when you're overwhelmed, like for thousands of different reasons. People are suggested to go and practice meditating, go and practice mindfulness, look at this app, do this, do that, do the other. As a coach, when I tell people that I'm a meditation coach, more often than not, I am greeted with the response of, "Oh, yeah, I tried that once, but I just couldn't do it because my mind's just too busy." Or, "Oh, well, I'm too I'm too stressed to do it. I haven't got enough time to meditate. I've got ADHD, so I can't meditate. I've like the kids are always around and not there, so I can't do it." Like hundreds of different reasons. And I appreciate every single one of them. However, in a lot of cases, I feel that it just requires a little bit of a reframe of mindset. And I thought I'd talk a little bit today about that, about my experience and what meditation and mindfulness are, and how I personally coach people to make it work for them. Because here at Happy Little Futures and Be Still with Lucy, if you've seen any of that stuff, I'm here to try and help people integrate mindfulness and meditation into their everyday life seamlessly, in a way that suits them, in a way that's going to help to benefit their mental health and isn't going to add more stress. Because quite often, when we know that we should do something, we then start putting responsibility on ourselves, putting shame on ourselves, and stuff like that when we don't do it. And that, for me personally, I find is a really big problem with setting a target, like I spoke about last week, I think it was, or the week before, um, and also with having something that you feel that you should be doing or that you know would help you. It becomes a negative thing because of the spin that we put on it. So I'm going to start off just by talking a bit about the sorts of things that can benefit us when we're meditating and mindfulness, what we can sort of gain from it. So as I said, quite often when you speak to a doctor or sort of someone at work or anything like that, they'll recommend mindfulness meditation. And they do it for sort of mental health purposes a lot, more commonly than not at the moment. It's to support people's mental health. And in those situations, meditation can be used to sort of help regulate emotions, help identify your emotions, becoming more self-aware. It can help you to reduce stress, calm your nervous system, release anxiety and depression, help with depression, sort of refinding yourself a little bit in the darkness. It can help you to sleep better, reduce insomnia. You can release trauma and tension from that, and also to ease pain and help with chronic illnesses. So personally, myself, I have used meditation to help with chronic pain initially and to help with anxiety. I know I've spoken in previous episodes about my story and how I came about to where I am now, and chronic pain and anxiety were the main few things that I initially used meditation for. Since I started meditating, I've then gone on to use it to help with depression. I've used it when I've been overwhelmed, and I've got a lot of other things that I've used it for just in general on the go to help sort of support me through moments within my life where there's been sort of additional challenges or things that I've not fully known how to go about doing. And what it's given me more than anything is more self-connection, more self-awareness overall. Yes, I would say that my anxiety generally is reduced. However, I do still get anxious. But what it means is that I've got a toolkit of skills that I can use to help me to reduce my anxiety and to get myself through moments where I am extremely anxious. The self-awareness that comes with meditating regularly, I find really, really helps me to identify when I can feel that anxiety starting to build and sort of almost nip it in the bud. It's still there, but I can then sort of stop it from manifesting any further. And that makes a massive difference. It makes it easier for myself. It makes it easier for my family if I can sit there and go, look, I just need to do this for a few minutes. I need to take a bit of a breather. I need to stop. And some of you listening might be going, oh, it's so selfish to stop and move away and like leave your kids. I'm not leaving my kids. In many cases, actually, I do it with them. Or I've even had it recently where they've gone, Mommy, I think you need to just stop and take a breath, because they can see that I'm starting to get a little bit stressed and need a bit of a moment. So meditation is beneficial in many ways. And in all of this, I started off meditating and being mindful as just a 20-something-year-old at work. I'd got time to sit on the train and do it. I'd got time in my evenings to do it. I could factor in time in my mornings. I have since had 3 children. I don't have time in my evenings. I don't have much time to factor in my mornings. I never even know what time the day will start. And I haven't always got the commuting time and stuff like that, because I don't commute to work. And if I'm travelling anywhere, more often than not, I'm either driving or I've got at least one child with me. It's not something I can do. So I know that even when it's hard, even when it feels impossible, it is possible to meditate. I also, and I'm going to speak about this possibly next week or the week after, I'm also possibly going down a route of ADHD diagnosis as well. So again, I understand what it's like to have a lot of struggles with executive function and stuff like that too. So there's a wider picture, and I have gone through everything, and the longer I've gone on through my life, and the more battles that have come up, the more I've had to sort of think twice about how to bring in these things that I know help to soothe my nervous system, calm me, keep me going in times of difficulty, be it emotional, physical, or just general overwhelm. So before I carry on, I'm going to quickly thank our sponsor, Rowan Fox Clothing. They are Rowan Fox Clothing, an sustainable clothing brand for kids and adults who love wildlife. All the designs are hand designed by the wonderful owner of Rowan Fox, and you can find all the fantastic designs and products available, not just clothing, but mugs and bags. You can find them on rowanfox.com and head to Facebook and Instagram to check out their products. So before we go any further, I thought I'd just clarify mindfulness and meditation. So being mindful is being present in the moment without judgment. It's quite a nice straightforward definition. What this means is that you're in a moment. It might be that you're in a moment watching the kids and you're just present in that moment, and any emotions and feelings and stuff like that that's coming up, you're just letting go of, and you're just present in that moment with the kids. It might be that you're just focusing on your breath and letting go of anything coming up. It might be that you're driving along and you're just present with when you need to change gear, the feel of the car, your surroundings, and you're just very sort of present in that moment without sort of the judgment of people driving past and honking their horns and stuff like that. You just sort of, you're focused on that moment. You're present in that moment. Meditation, I thought I'd do a quick Google actually before I started this podcast, because meditation I always feel is a bit of a funny one. Quite often when people hear meditation, they immediately have an idea of sitting cross-legged in silence and not thinking and just emptying their mind. And whilst this sort of thing can be a form of meditation, actually there's lots of different ways to frame it, and I will go into how I frame it in a minute. So some of the definitions that I saw when I was looking at meditation was focusing your mind on a particular object, thought or activity, deliberately focusing attention to bring about feelings of calm and heightened awareness, the act of giving your attention to only one thing, and a slow, long-term exercise that reorganizes the mind over months and years. So those are a few sort of key definitions that I pulled out. There were multiple others, I will admit. However, those ones were sort of the crux of the main general idea of what people say meditation is. So personally, when I'm coaching people in meditation, quite often I talk about mindfulness and meditation sort of together. And I've spoken in the past about practicing the cello and practicing scales. So when you play an instrument, you're playing the music, you're doing all of that. When you're practicing scales, which can be extremely boring, you're sort of practicing the way in which your fingers are going to move, the patterns and stuff like that, to help you to sort of create that muscle memory almost. So when I'm coaching, I often say that meditation is almost a practice of being mindful. So there are many ways that we can use it, but ultimately the intention, and that's the intention behind it, and the intention is for us to, we might have an intention of being calm, of creating awareness, increasing our focus, reducing anxiety, reducing tension, sort of allowing pain to dissipate, stuff like that. That might be our intention of meditating. And going in with that key intention, we then practice sort of going into that state. And to that end, I suppose in a way we are focusing our attention on one thing, although there's lots of different ways to do it. To that end, I suppose it can be a slow, long-term exercise that reorganizes the mind over years and months, because it can create new neural pathways that help you to manage and cope with those emotions, those feelings, that pain. In ways we are deliberately focusing our attention to bring about feelings of calm or heightened awareness. It just depends on your intention. And to a degree, it is the act of focusing our mind on a particular object, thought or activity. And in that sense, when you think of it like that in many ways, it is a practice of mindfulness. I'll just have a quick drink. So when mindfulness is being present in the moment without judgment, we can then start to sort of look and go, actually, meditation is the practice of bringing our attention to being calm, being focused, staying on that one intention, which is what we do with mindfulness. We intentionally are present in that moment without judgment. So hopefully you're starting to see how it pieces together when I'm coaching, how actually bringing together those two pieces of the puzzle, using meditation to practice being mindful and then actively being mindful throughout the day, on the go, doing whatever you can, they come together really beautifully. So there's many different ways to meditate, and I think this is where anyone can meditate to support their mental health. A lot of people, like I said, think of meditation as sitting still, calmly, legs crossed, and in silence without thoughts and feelings, and it's in silence without sound in the background. It could be in silence in your head, and that is a way to meditate, like I said. However, that is not the only way to meditate. So first of all, we can't just turn our brains off. We can't just turn thoughts off. That's not how life works. It's not that easy. So we have sort of around 50 to 70,000 thoughts on average every single day. To just turn our brain off in that situation, it's not going to happen. What we can do, however, is we can notice those thoughts that are coming up. And if we feel that we need to sit with them, we can. If actually we just want to let go of them and just find a quieter moment in our mind, we can find an anchor within our body, within our mind, within our breath, and we can use that anchor to let go of that thought and bring ourselves back to that. And again, it's sort of practicing that being present in the moment without judgment. We're letting go of the thoughts and we're bringing our attention back to our anchor. So that is a fantastic way of reframing meditation for all those people who are out there who are going, but I can't meditate because I have too many thoughts, I'm too busy in my head, like I've got ADHD, all of that sort of stuff. It is possible, because you will have thoughts. You don't need to worry about not having thoughts, because they are there. They will always be there. It's just them, what you do, the intention behind how you let them go, that's what makes the difference. We don't actually need to be still when we're meditating. There are many different ways to meditate. I am personally trained in breathwork and sound meditation, sound therapy, and just normal meditation. I train kids, I train adults, I help many different people from different walks of life to come through and practice meditation to support their mental health. You cannot get a child to sit still for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, however long you want them to. However, you can get them to bring their attention to something that they are doing with their body, be it walking or running or stretching. You can also, likewise, be meditating if you're on a walk. If you're out and about, you can do that on the go. You can intentionally take some time on the school run or on your commute or on the walk to the shop, just to sort of meditate, be present with your body, focus your intention on where you're feeling those footsteps and stuff like that as you're walking. So that for me is really key. You will have thoughts and you don't have to be still. In some ways, with certain sort of somatic breathworks and stuff like that, we actually focus our attention on moving the body to sort of shift tension, shift trauma. It's another big way in which we can use our body to help in sort of achieving that intention of meditation. You also don't have to sit quietly. There are many ways to meditate using your voice. You could hum, you can say certain affirmations. There are many ways to use your voice in meditation. And again, the vibrations when you're humming and sort of singing, they can help to sort of stimulate your nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system and to calm your body. And you also don't have to meditate in silence. I run fortnightly sound baths where people come to me. I'll get them into a nice sort of calm state, using their breath, using their body, sort of help them to focus on areas of their breath and body that they want to. It might be that we're releasing certain things. We might do a bit of journaling. I do that with them, and then I play crystal singing bowls and the gong, and I help them to sort of carry out their intention for that session by just simply lying there and relaxing to the sounds of the music. And in that time, it might be that they keep their attention on their breath, they might have an anchor that they choose to focus on, or it might be that they simply just lie there and just let the sound wash over them and do the work for them. And it's a beautiful way of meditating. It's a fantastic form of self-care, because they are setting aside that time to intentionally relax themselves, to intentionally find focus or calm or whatever they want to find, and get themselves into a lovely state of being. And so that is a beautiful thing to do. So for me personally, my point today is that if you're sitting there going, I'm really overwhelmed, I'm really busy, I've got too many thoughts going on in my head, I can't figure out what to do first, I can't figure out where to start with all of this. I can't figure out why I'm feeling so anxious. I want to not feel anxious. I want to not feel depressed. I want to get myself out of this funk that I'm in. I want to figure out what I want to do with my life, and all of those sorts of things. Meditation can be the answer for you. It's just all about finding the right way for you. Over the next few months, I plan on getting quite a few courses and stuff like that, sort of starting to get them out. Although you do have to bear with me because I have got 3 young children. so I'm saying this, but it doesn't always work how I want. And part of what I've learned on my meditation journey is that that's okay. And actually harboring that bit of self-compassion, in the sense that I do have 3 school runs to do a day, because I do one in the middle of the day to get my youngest to nursery as well. I do only have a few hours each afternoon to do work, all of that sort of stuff. It allows me to let go of those feelings of guilt, of shame and stuff like that, and to actually just take a deep breath and refocus and go, so what can I do right now? And that can make a massive difference. So there's an in progress shot at how I use meditation throughout my day and how it's slowly benefited me over the years. But it's very much about finding the practice for you, whether it's through micro meditations, which if you go back and look to my Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, whatever you want to, go back and look at them. For December, I put up a micro meditation for every day in the lead up to Christmas. And these are sort of just short 30-second to a minute long practices that you can do in your day on the go, that are there waiting for you to start to see what actually works for you, what actually is the right type of meditation practice for you, what you think could help you to start this journey, and you might be able to elaborate on. You could go through that Advent calendar at any point in the year. You could start it today, straight after listening to this. You could even be looking right now, because that's the sort of thing that I have to do when I'm listening to a podcast. I have to go, if I don't do this now, I will forget. So you could even be looking at it right now, and you could just go through that Advent calendar and start just building in those micro meditations, those small moments throughout your day, to help you to begin that journey and realize actually how simple it can be, to begin to identify what sort of meditation will work for you. If you want, you can always get in touch with me. I do offer one-to-ones, and I will be doing group sessions and, like I said, courses online that you can access yourself over the coming months. And I can also work with your whole family, with your kids, with you, and we can figure out what works for you. But ultimately, the whole point is that I don't want you to be disheartened. Anyone can meditate. You can meditate. You just haven't found the right way for you yet. And that is what is important and key to helping you to begin this journey to supporting your mental health with meditation. So with that, we're going to take a nice deep breath in and release. Fantastic. And I will see you next week.